Hi, it's Miss Linda here, and welcome to Virtual Day Camp. We are going to be doing some baking today because I love to bake cookies. So we are going to bake some cookies. These are super simple, 4 ingredients. Grab an adult to help you with the oven. And number 1 rule of baking, first thing you do is you wash your hands. So these are a cookie I used to make when I was a kid, and they're a lot of fun. All right, let's get to the baking. So today we are going to be making lemon cookies. These are super simple cookies, and they start off with a box of cake mix. My family's favorite is lemon, but you can use any kind of cake mix you want. You can use chocolate or strawberry or a spice cake. I wouldn't use white or yellow. I don't think that would be that great, but we're going to start off with our cake mix. And we will open that up and put that in the mixing bowl. And then I'm just going to take a fork and get some of the bigger lumps mixed out of that. Just like that. And I'm gonna look at my recipe and go, okay, we got our cake mix. We also need 4.5 ounces of Cool Whip. That is not the whole thing of Cool Whip. Don't use the whole thing, that's too much. It is about 2 cups worth, maybe a little on the short side. So you can either just do 2 cups, or if you have a measuring thing that will measure ounces, you can weigh out 4.5 ounces of Cool Whip. And my mom taught me to scrape the bowl, so we scrape everything as much as we can. All right, let's just get the Cool Whip in there. All right, and our last ingredient is 1 egg. So we're just gonna put an egg in there. Move our fork out, and then you're just going to mix this all together. We're just going to keep mixing until it all comes together. All right, so we are in the middle of mixing the cookie dough, and you want to make sure you get all that dry cake mix incorporated. I've switched over to the fork for a little bit to help make sure I'm getting everything all mixed in. I'm getting those little pieces of cake broken down. All right, so we have the cookie dough all mixed up. I've got all the little lumps from the cake out. So the next step is we are going to make the individual cookies. So I have a bowl here filled with powdered sugar and a spoon. And you're going to take a spoon of dough, about like this. This is where it really helps to have a second person doing the cookies with you. So I'm going to be over here getting my hands messy, and then you can have a grown-up who can take the finished cookies and put them in and take them out of the oven, because this part's going to get a little messy. But I'm going to put some hunks of dough into the powdered sugar. Just try and get them to be all the same size. We tend to do smaller cookies, but if you want them bigger, you can do bigger. And let's try and get one more in there. All right, so let me grab an extra spoon so I can help and cover the dough. We're just going to cover the dough with powdered sugar, just like that. Just sort of play around with it, and then you can, once it's covered in the powdered sugar, you're going to take it into your hands and roll it and make a big huge mess and get powdered sugar everywhere if you bake like I do. And then you're going to put them on the cookie sheet. So I have taken my cookie sheet and I've covered it with parchment paper. If you don't have any parchment paper, I would go ahead and grease your cookie sheet, and that'll help make it easier to get your cookies off when they're done. So I'm just going to keep rolling and then sort of space them out so they have a little bit of room because they're going to flatten as they bake. And we're just going to keep rolling our cookies along. See, it's really just pretty easy. Just sort of space them out so there's like an inch or so between them. And then I'm gonna start going down the cookie sheet. I usually just sort of measure a lot with my finger too as I'm baking, so I know how to space them. But I'm just gonna keep rolling cookies and we're gonna fill up the tray, okay? All right. So also, when you start rolling cookies, you also need to preheat that oven. So if you want to go ahead and turn your oven on to about 350 degrees so it can warm up, and it can warm up while you keep rolling your cookies. All right, I have the first sheet of cookies. They are ready to go. My oven's preheated, so I'm going to go ahead and stick those in. So they're in the oven at 350. We're going to close that up and we're going to set the timer for 10 minutes. And we'll check them then and we'll see if they're done or if they need to bake a little bit more. All right, so I've emptied the bowl and scraped it as clean as I can, just like my mama taught me. I still have a couple cookies I need to roll in the powdered sugar to go on the last tray to go in the oven. Our first tray has come out right here and is cooling on the rack. These are our second trays. We've been putting them in for about 10 minutes and then they needed like 1 or 2 extra minutes, so just sort of bake them until they look done. I'd start with the 10 minutes and just add another minute or 2 until they look like they're done. And then let them cool just a little bit before you eat them, but then enjoy. I hope you've had fun baking cookies and I hope you like these cookies. Have a good day.